I'll stick to three basic things. Okay, how to go through the subject, like how to approach the syllabus, how to complete the syllabus, syllabus कैसे complete करना है. So that is one thing. In this, I will also try to tell you which all NCRTs you have to read. Okay, how to focus NCRTs and how to complete your GS subject, what to read, what not to read. That's the one thing which I will discuss. The second thing is important, very important, current affairs and newspaper. How to cover up the current affairs, how to cover up the newspapers. That is one thing which I will discuss. And briefly, I'll also discuss answer writing, which is an important part of your mains preparation. These are the major aspects which I will focus in this discussion. So the first thing what we are going to discuss is how to cover up your syllabus and NCRT from the examination point of view. कि syllabus को कैसे complete करना है, NCRT कैसे complete करना है from the examination point of view. वो चीज समझने से पहले कि how to cover up syllabus, how to cover up NCRT, we need to understand what all are the subject, कौन से subject UPSC preparation में आपको focus करना है, कौन से subject आपको पढ़ना है. ठीक है. So let us just have a brief idea. There is a question. Sir, पढ़ लिया पर learn नहीं हो रहा है. अच्छा, पढ़ लिया पर learn नहीं हो रहा है. कोई बात नहीं, हम learn करवाने की कोशिश करते हैं. शिवांश, ठीक है, टेंशन मत लो. ठीक है सर, मैंने NCRT 2 बार पढ़ लिया है पर लर्न नहीं हो रहा है. लर्न करना भी नहीं है शिवांश, लर्न करना भी नहीं है. वही मैं बताने जा रहा हूँ कि कैसे पढ़ना है, क्या पढ़ना है, समझने की कोशिश करिए. सबसे पहले आपका जो प्रिपरेशन है, जो भी आपका प्रिपरेशन है, it should be from the examination perspective कि भाई एग्जाम को मद्देनजर रखते हुए पढ़ना है. और एग्जाम क्या कहता है कि भाई एग्जाम 3 स्टेजेस में होगा. दैट इज प्रीलिम्स, मेंस and interview. These are the 3 stages of examination. Very simple, straight. 3 stages होंगे examination के. ठीक है. There is one more question which has come. Let me see the question. So facing problem in making notes. Okay, Kunal, I'll come with like I'll help you to overcome that challenge. ठीक है. See, prelims, mains and interview. These are the 3 stages of exam. अब भाई prelims point of view से which are the subjects you have to be you have to do it. Prelims point of view से जो आपको सब्जेक्ट पढ़ना है दैट इज पॉलिटी, हिस्ट्री, ठीक है, ज्योग्राफी, इकोनॉमिक्स, साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, as well as environment. Okay, these are the subject I'm talking about. GS part of the prelims. ठीक है, कौन से सब्जेक्ट पढ़ना है? पॉलिटी, हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी, इकोनॉमिक्स, साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी एंड एनवायरमेंट. ठीक है. अब इसके अलावा आपका जो सीसेट होता है, जो जीएस पेपर 2 जिसको आप कहते हैं, इसमें इंग्लिश, मैथमेटिक्स एंड रीजनिंग, ये 3 चीजों आपको पता होना चाहिए प्रीलिम्स क्लियर करने के लिए. These are the 3 things. अब अगर आप बहुत ध्यान से देखें, यूपीएससी हर वक्त कहता है कि भाई प्रीलिम्स में आपको निकालने के लिए एनसीईआरटी बहुत अच्छे से क्लियर होना चाहिए. ठीक है. अब ये तो हो गए प्रीलिम्स के सब्जेक्ट्स. अब हम इसको ये भी देखेंगे कि पढ़ना कैसे, वो अलग बात है. अब हम मेंस में देखते हैं कि कौन से सब्जेक्ट्स आपको पढ़ने हैं बहुत डिटेल में. इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन. Okay, international relation is one subject you have to take. Indian society, internal security, okay, ethics. फिर आपको एक ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट सेलेक्ट करना है, प्लस एसे, प्लस गवर्नेंस, सोशल जस्टिस. ठीक है, प्लस 275 मार्क्स से आपका इंटरव्यू हो गया. नाउ दिस आर द बेसिक सब्जेक्ट्स व्हिच यू हैव टू डू. अब हिस्ट्री में फर्दर क्लासिफिकेशन हो सकता है, एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री, मिडाइवल हिस्ट्री, मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री, वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री, आर्ट एंड कल्चर. ये सारे क्लासिफिकेशन आपकी हिस्ट्री में, पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस, ये सारे आपके हिस्ट्री में क्लासिफिकेशन हो जाएगा. आप बहुत सिंपली समझिए किसी भी एस्पिरेंट को यूपीएससी का एग्जाम क्लियर करना है, इफ द एस्पिरेंट हैज टू क्लियर द यूपीएससी एग्जाम, ही हैव टू डू वन थिंग वेरी क्लियरली। भाई प्रीलिम्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से इन सब्जेक्ट्स को अच्छे से पढ़ लो। यही जितने प्रीलिम्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से सब्जेक्ट्स आप पढ़ रहे हो, व्हाटएवर सब्जेक्ट यू आर लर्निंग फ्रॉम द प्रीलिम्स, उसको इतना डीप में पढ़ लो, क्योंकि यही सब्जेक्ट मेंस में भी आते हैं। ये सब्जेक्ट मेंस में भी आएंगे, तो उसको बहुत डीप में पढ़ लो, जिससे आप मेंस में आंसर भी लिख पाओ और प्रीलिम्स आपका आराम से निकल जाए। सो ऑल द सब्जेक्ट्स व्हिच आई हैव रिटन हियर अंडर प्रीलिम्स विल कम इन द मेंस एज वेल। सो आप उसको बहुत डिटेल में पढ़ लो कि आपका आंसर भी हो जाए और आप प्रीलिम्स भी निकाल लो। फिर एडिशनल में आप ये सारे सब्जेक्ट्स पढ़ लो मेंस के लिए। अब मेंस में भी आपको एटमोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट कौन कौन से सब्जेक्ट पे देना है वो भी मैं बता देता हूं। तो गेम चेंजर सब्जेक्ट होता है जो आपको एक अच्छा रैंक लाने में हेल्प करता है, दैट सब्जेक्ट्स आर एथिक्स, ऑप्शनल and essay. Now why these subjects are called as game changer subjects, I'll tell you. Ethics paper is of 250 marks, okay. Optional 2 papers of 250 marks, एक ही सब्जेक्ट। फॉर एग्जांपल इफ यू आर टेकन पॉलिटिकल साइंस एंड इंटरनेशनल रिलेशनशिप, आपको 2 पेपर देना होगा ऑप्शनल में, 250 ईच का, तो 500 मार्क्स आपको ऑप्शनल में मिल जाएगा। ऐसे 250 मार्क्स। अगर कोई एस्पिरेंट 250 500 दैट इज 750, 750 प्लस 250 कितने हो गए? अप्रोक्सीमेटली 900 मार्क्स का पेपर आपका, 900 मार्क्स का नहीं 1000 मार्क्स का पेपर के लगभग का आपका इसी एरिया से आ जाएगा। एंड इफ यू आर स्कोरिंग हाईली आउट ऑफ दिस, अगर आप कितने हो गए 250 प्लस 250, ये दोनों हो गया एथिक्स एसे प्लस 500, 1000 मार्क्स का आपको यहां से मिल जाएगा। अगर आप इसमें से मैक्सिमम स्कोर करते हैं देन यू आर एट अ वेरी गुड चांस ऑफ क्लियरिंग द एग्जामिनेशन विद अ वेरी हाई रैंक। ठीक है, क्योंकि इस बार का आप रैंक 1 के मार्क्स देखो तो आप देखोगे कि उनके जो मेंस में मार्क्स है दैट इज समथिंग अराउंड 836। ठीक है, तो आपको 900 मार्क्स का पेपर, 1000 मार्क्स का पेपर आपको यहीं से मिल जाएगा। तो अगर आप इसमें जितना स्कोर करते हैं उतना ज्यादा चांस रहता है आपका यूपीएससी निकालने का। और ये 3 चीजें ऐसी हैं, इसमें क्वेश्चंस रिपीट होते हैं, ऑप्शनल में भी क्वेश्चंस रिपीट होते हैं, एसए में भी और एथिक्स में भी देयर इज लॉट ऑफ रिपीटेशन इन इट, सो इट विल हेल्प यू टू क्रैक द एग्जामिनेशन इन अ वेरी बेटर मैनर। Now, these are the subject you have to do. Now, what UPSC says that UPSC tells one thing very clearly: in order to clear the examination, an aspirant has to cover up NCERT in a most deep manner and in a very thorough manner. Now, how to read NCERT? That is a very big question. See, what UPSC says that you should be very clear with 6th class to 12th class NCERT. ठीक है, 6th class to 12th class NCERT, but what I believe is 6th class और 7th class की NCERT में इतना ज्यादा आपको कंटेंट नहीं मिलेगा। So you can, what you can do is start reading 8th क्लास 9th क्लास से आप NCERT पढ़ना शुरू कर सकते हो। 9th क्लास से अगर आप NCERT पढ़ते हो तो आप एक ठीक लेवल पर जा रहे हो। You can start with 9th क्लास NCERT, 9th 10th 11th 12th क्लास की आप NCERT पढ़ सकते हो। And that too of which all subjects? Polity, history, geography, economics. These are the 4 subjects in which you have to read the NCERTs very thoroughly. Now, how will you read the NCERTs? हम अक्सर क्या गलती करते हैं NCERT करते वक्त? What we do is हम NCERT पढ़ते हैं और उसको साइड बाय साइड अंडरलाइन करने की कोशिश करते हैं, या उस NCERT से we try to make notes। जैसे अभी आप में से एक बच्चे ने बोला था okay, Udvav Prakash wants me to speak in English. I am speaking in English. You don't want me to speak at all in Hindi? You don't understand Hindi, Udvav? No issues, I'll speak in English. Sir, placing problem in note making. Sir, सारी NCERT एक दो बार पढ़ ली है but learn नहीं हो रही है. I am telling you how to. Okay, now understand. Now understand how to read NCERT. That's what I'm talking. How to read NCERT. When you are reading NCERT for the first time, never try to make notes out of it. Never ever try to make notes out of it, or don't do any underlining or anything when you are reading NCERT for the first time. Just have a casual reading of a particular chapter. The first reading of NCERT, the chapter wise, I'm talking chapter wise, just have the casual reading. Okay, then again reread the chapter, and when you are reading for the second time, try to underline the key points, because once you are reading for the first time, you will find every point as an important point. Like you will feel like every point is an important point, so you will scribble down everything. That should not be done. But the first time you are reading, have a casual reading of the NCERT. Then the second time you are reading, underline the key points which you find as important points while reading the NCERT, and again read that chapter for the third time. And when you are reading for the third time, scribble down notes. So as you have 3 layers of reading, each time you are going through the NCERTs, your content will be filtered. The most important content only you will write it down, or you will scribble it down. Okay, so first time have a casual reading of the chapter, then after some time, then don't read it just after that. Like you are reading now, again you are trying to, like, don't try just to read it. First time, just read it, take a break. Second time, underline the key points of the chapter, and third time, scribble down the notes. And then once you are finished reading the third time, once you have finished reading the third time, now you will have only the essence content with you, and that is the way you need to make notes. Okay, so that's the way you make the notes. Okay, so NCERT of these 4 subjects has to be covered thoroughly. And see, what we will do is, you will have NCERT classes also in academy. So it's not like that we won't have classes. We will have NCERT classes also in the academy, where NCERTs are taught. Okay, after teaching NCERTs, we will do the foundation course of this subject. Then, like, we will have a detailed analysis of this subject. Like we will have, like, for equality, we will have 100 to 120 hours of classes. Okay, that is detailed version, that is called as GS Foundation. So once you are joining the academy, first thing you will be covering NCERT. The second thing you will be covering is the detailed version of the course. So multiple efforts will be made on a particular subject, that nothing is left over. Okay, for example, history, 140 hours to 160 hours we will give. So for every subject we will give a lot of time, so that nothing is left over, no stone is left unturned. Okay, after the completion of the subject, the next thing, okay, he says that I am from Tamil Nadu. Udaya Prakash is from Tamil Nadu. I am also from South. I am from Kerala, Udaya. I am from Kerala. Okay, but I have completed my education from Delhi, so I can speak in English, Malayalam, as well as in Hindi. Anyways, bit of Tamil also I understand. Okay, so don't worry about it. Okay, next thing after completion of this, like this syllabus. Now, the next thing what we are going to discuss is how to read current affairs. That is a very important and a very important part of preparation, and like a very essential part of your preparation. See, how to read current affairs. So the reading current affairs is very easy. Always people say that you should read a Hindu newspaper for current affairs. Hindu newspaper, and they are almost right, because Hindu newspaper gives a lot of quality news with respect to the current affairs. But understand, Hindu newspaper, the vocabs they use or the language they use is very challenging. Okay, so a beginner, a person who is starting with the preparation, might face certain difficulties in reading news from the Hindu newspaper. So what can be done? See, in that case, if you are facing difficulty in understanding the newspaper, or if you are facing certain challenges in understanding the newspaper, you can start with Times of India or Indian Express. These are comparatively easy newspapers compared to Hindu. You can start with this, and then you can later switch into Hindu newspaper. After 2 or 3 months, you can start to switch into Hindu newspaper. Now, understand, there are very important aspects that you need to keep in your mind before reading the newspaper. The first aspects that you need to keep in your mind is, you don't have to read the entire newspaper. You don't have to read the entire newspaper, because there will be sports news, there will be film news, there will be political news. So you don't have to read all those news from the newspaper. Then how to read the news, which is how to identify the news which is important for you. That is very simple to be done. Once you get the newspaper, when you get a newspaper early in the morning, just take out a pen and see, is there any news in the newspaper which is related to this subjects we have written here? Is there any news which is related to polity? Is there any news which is related to history? Is there any news which is related to geography, economics, science and technology, environment, international relation, Indian society, internal security, ethics, your optional subject, essay, governance, social justice? If there is a news which is related to these subjects, then that news becomes important for your UPSC preparation. Just tick all that news which is connected to this subject. Just once you get the newspaper in the morning, just you have to put a tick that this is related to this subject. So this news becomes an important part of my preparation. Then you have to, like, with precision, you have to surgically evaluate that news with 100% precision. You have to answer few questions. Why that news is important? What is the background of that news? What any data, if it is given in the news, you have to scribble it down. So for example, how you have to do a very easy method of doing current affairs is, you have taken up a newspaper. And what you have done is, the next task is identify the news which you have to read. Identify news. And how will you identify the news? If the news in that particular newspaper has some sort of connection with the subject of your UPSC syllabus, then it becomes, and already we know the subjects, right? We have already mentioned the subject. So if that gets connected, anyhow, if it get connected to this, okay, anyhow, if it get connected to this, then that news becomes important for you. So identify the news and try to establish a relation with a particular subject. Okay, then what is the third thing? What you have to do? Then always make a newspaper file. Now, for polity, you should have one current affairs file. For economics, you should have another current affairs file. For every subject, you should have a file. For example, you are reading the newspaper of 24th October 2025. Okay, and one news you have identified as a news from subject polity. Read the news, scribble down the notes, make a proper structure of the news and add it to the file of polity current affairs. For example, you have got a news from economics, then add it here in the economics file. What people usually do is, people try to put date and try to write down the news. But it is very difficult to recall the news. As per dates. आपको डेट के हिसाब से न्यूज, फॉर एग्जांपल आपने 24 को लिखा 5 न्यूज, यू हैव रिटन पॉलिटी 5 न्यूज, इकोनॉमिक्स 2 न्यूज, history 1 news you have written 10 news. But it will be very difficult for you to revise the news as per the date. But subject wise, it is very easy to revise the news. For example, after one completion of 1 month news, you will have 20 news of polity, you will have 20 news of economics, 10 news of international relation. So that becomes very easy for you to revise it, rather than आप date wise news को पढ़े. It will be very difficult. So I hope you understood how to read the newspaper, how to revise the newspaper. Just identify the news. Is it relevant for your preparation? Then underline the important essence of the news, make short notes and add it to the concerned file. And most important thing, always take newspaper or current affairs as a subject. Always take newspaper or current affairs as a subject and keep on revising it. One thing what people usually miss in the UPSC preparation is, people don't give much emphasis on revision. Understand, an aspirant clears the examination if he studies the entire syllabus and give multiple revision to the entire syllabus what he have done. Consolidation is more important than expansion. What people used to do is, like they will attend more than hundreds of test paper, but they won't revise those test paper. There is no use of doing so. So what you have to do as an UPSC aspirant is read NCERT, take foundation class, okay, make notes, use reference book. We will tell you which reference book you need to use. Use reference book, attend test, and answer writing, practice, current affairs, and revision. If an aspirant is doing all these things properly, for example, he is doing NCERT, he has read NCERT and made notes out of it, अगर aspirant ने इससे notes बनाया है properly and has given proper revision to the notes, if an aspirant has taken foundation class, that is the detailed class of all the subjects which we have talked, okay, and make notes out of it and revise it, and using reference book he has enriched that notes. Okay, reference book, for example, you have taken polities class 100-120 hours of classes, but at the same time you have used Lakshmikant as the reference book and enriched your notes. Okay, plus the aspirant has given test, that is prelims test and mains test, and focus on answer writing and current affairs, then the aspirant has a very good chance of clearing the examination. One thing I'll always believe is keep the things very simple, and straight. Sir, newspaper can be done for subjects of prelims and mains. Yes, newspaper can be done for, should be done for prelims as mains as well. Both for prelims and mains. The question was asked by who? The question was asked by, just a minute, Kunal has asked this question. Yes, newspaper is very important for prelims as well as mains, Kunal. I'll tell you why. Because in prelims you will get direct questions from the newspaper, current affairs, and in mains what you can do is whatever data or whatever current affairs you have learned from the newspaper, you can quote it as an example. So see, UPSC will always blend the static topic with the current affairs topic before framing a question. कभी भी UPSC static questions बहुत कम पूछता है. For example, if in news there is something related to the Parliament of India, okay, Parliament of India, so UPSC will always try to ask question from something which is in news. तो static जो पुराना है और नए को mix करके वो question बनाता है. तो always the current affairs or the news are very important from the prelims point of view as well as the mains point of view. So I hope this is clear. NCERT, okay, notes of NCERT and how threefold, like 3 times you have to read notes of NCERT, then you have to attend the foundation class, and then you have to make the notes out of it. Then you have to enrich these notes using the reference book, and then you have to focus on your prelims and main test, and we will also have the NCERT based test here. Okay, NCERT based test. So you will have test for the foundation, prelims and mains, you will have test for NCERT, then you will have answer writing practice, then you will have current affairs, and I have already told you how to read the current affairs.